Hey guys, it's Marshall Ting with your Superior Ag Insurance Ringside Report for this past week, the week of September 11th through the 16th. So we have been rolling in cattle this past week. Numbers are extremely high this past week, to the tune of about 13,000 more than what it was this time last week. So that's a huge difference. Now, if you compare it to this time last year, you're only looking at about 8,000. But again, 8,000 head is still a big number. Now, what's this cattle market doing? You're starting to see a little bit more fluctuation in these cattle, especially your feeder cattle, your lighter weight feeder cattle. But at the same time, when you walk in one of these barns right now, you're hearing a whole lot more balling calves than we were this time in the summer and the spring, and just everybody's starting to bring these calves right off the cows into town, and that's causing just a little bit of fluctuation in your price. So now, as far as your dollars are concerned, we're going to call your feeder steers and heifers anywhere from $2 lower to $2 to $4 lower to $2 to $4 higher. So like I said, you're seeing a little bit of buyer selectivity on these cattle. If they are preconditioned and weaned, they are bringing a premium. But it's like we talked last week. You're seeing a bigger spread on some of these cattle as far as dollars per hundred per weight range. Now, as far as your yearlings we're going to be back just a little bit, they called them. But now I have got a few special treats for you here directly. We have sold some 8-weight cattle out of this world, heifers out of this world, in a really strong trade on some Holsteins. Let's talk about these little lightweight cattle worth. So I'm gonna call your 4-weight steer cattle across the board. I'm gonna say they averaged out about 270 on your steer cattle. They topped off at 302. Now, as far as your 5-weight steer cattle, I'm going to back up a little bit. You're going to see a lot of these cattle about 260 to 265. They topped off at 295. So that's still a good sign. But like I said, you're seeing a huge spread and a huge spread per pound per hundred on these cattle based on whether or not they're weaned or preconditioned enough. And I know you hear me harp about that all the time, but it does make a huge difference on these cattle, as far as, especially when we're getting ready to get into October with all these weather changes and everything going on. But get ready for this. They called your yearlings as a whole down about $2. I want to say as a whole, your 8-weight steer cattle as a whole, 243 to 247 is going to catch the majority of your 8-weight steer cattle. But check out these deals right here. Here's 62 head of black steers. Now, they had 18 colored calves on them. Just like 3 reds and the balanced Charolais on the 18, so it'll be 15 Charolais cattle on these. 812 pounds on the average. Ready for this? $256.30. That is a rocking price on an 8-weight steer. But if you think that's good, bump them on up, make them a little heavier. Here's 59 head of these. These are all blacks as well. 885 pounds on the average. $251.50. So still carrying the ball right along. But check out some of these other specialties. Now, here's a set of heifers. Now, these were showing off the kind, and they brought the premium. Here's 79 head of these black heifers, weighed 655 pounds on the average. Ready for this? $261.60. That is a booming heifer trade. And then we had a big set of Holsteins trade as well. Here's 57 head of Holsteins, 921 pounds on the average. They're going to dollar up to $1.8250, which is good on a big set of spotted up steers. Now, we talk about your CME feeder cattle index. So it actually rose. We had a peak at the week at 253, and then it started to back down a little bit there on Friday, but check out these numbers. So your CME feeder cattle index for the week, starting out Monday the 11th, 250.88. By Tuesday the 12th, 251.16. By Wednesday the 13th, 251.21. And then here's where we saw our jump. Thursday the 14th, 253.39. That's a pretty good size jump and a good sign on these 8 weights. But by the time Friday came back around, it backed up, but just a smidge, 252.75, which your CME feeder cattle index to close the week out. Now, if you have any questions on this or a livestock risk protection policy, you can't preach to you enough, guys. There is no better time right now than invest in one of those. There is so many dollars going on in your cattle operation right now. A livestock risk protection policy might be the best thing for you at the time. If you have any questions on that, reach out to the guys. Call Ian Thomas at 859-613-2453 or call Adam Shoemaker at 859-338-4116. Check them out on the web, www.superioragins.com. Thank you so much. Look forward to talking to you soon.